and we just want to try to get the most out of this. So when we met back 30 some odd years ago, you were doing, I don't know, 25, 30 transactions and $150,000, $175,000 in GCI. Is that, do I have
about
my numbers right?
about 150, 175.
And you were working.
Money.
Sorry?
In money.
In money, yeah. And you were working very hard.
Really hard.
Yeah. Trying to get.
Does anybody?
Together.
That's right. Does anybody feel like they're working really hard right now?
Yeah, everybody.
I feel like I'm working really hard right now. And I think we're smart to be working really hard right now.
Yeah, very, very good. That's exactly the answer. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But see, a lot of people say, think in terms of, well, you were born this way. You were born making $3, $4, $5 million a year, and you were born with, you have a basic gift to gab, but basic. You learned all this stuff. In fact, I remember one time where you said, I'd like you to comment on this, where you were telling Mike, you woke up one day or you're in a mastermind group and you said, wow, what if I really knew how to sell?
That was something that I said, yeah.
Yeah.
And exactly. I still have to learn that all the time.
Really?
I still have to, practice and do role playing and scripts and dialogues. I was just in New Zealand for January, February, and half of March. And I came back to COVID. And so my sales skills were way off. And fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't have to do any in-person appointments. I went right to the, for doing appointments, because in Colorado, we shut down instantly, kind of like you did there.
Right.
And so, I had to practice, and boy, there were some days of some real frustration.
Interesting. So you mean that Karen Bernadi at this level in her career still practices?
Not enough, but I practice, yeah. I just joined a role play group after I got back. And it was good because we role played on Zoom and did our listing presentations on Zoom. So no, I'm going to start another role play group. So because that one turned out to be 6:30 in the morning for me, which was fine. But now I'm training for the Boston Marathon, so I have to run in the morning a lot.
Whoa, good for you.
Thank you. I haven't done it. I mean, I've done it once, but wait to congratulate me.
Yeah. You know what? That's you've done how many marathons?
Oh, not that many, like 6 or 7.
When I did the Los Angeles Marathon, I did it, we completed it, and it's something that no one can ever take away from you.
Oh, what a great thing to say. That's so true.
No one can ever take away from you. And so congratulations. That's a big deal.
Well, you know what? It's so great that you said that, because I was thinking this morning, in fact, I was thinking, wow, how much is this marathon going to cost me in dollars? Okay. Because, you're tired, sure, from running. And I thought, well, if someone bought, you can't buy life experiences. You can only do them. You can only have them. Yeah. So that's the way it is. But last time I ran a marathon, I had a great year. So you just had to be more disciplined.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, I heard this someplace, pain is temporary, pride is forever.
Oh, I love that. It's so good. Yeah.
So you're going to come off of this and you are going to be one prideful lady.
Yeah.
So also, remember Tim Wood?
Yeah, of course.
So when Tim Wood did a study once of some guys that were actually going to run the Boston Marathon, and every one of the people that committed to run a marathon had their best year ever, because they had to put it all together with all the training, all the practice, all the different things. So, so with that thought, what would your best year ever be?
Well, last year I made 3.86 or something like that, 3.86 million. So that was my best year ever. And I would, our goal this year was to definitely go over 4. Uh-huh. I've had that goal to go over 4 for about 3 or 4 years now, but it hasn't happened yet. But I've come really close. I'm not going broke trying.
I love it. I love it.
I want to say something about this marathon thing that applies to our business really relevantly, especially with what you just said. But You know, with the marathon, you can't skip a day of training. You have to follow the schedule because your body cannot do it unless you train it to do so. And with prospecting and in our businesses, you can't get behind. You can't make up those contacts. You know, once you got it, that's why it's so important to track them weekly, come in on Saturdays or whatever, to make sure that you get whatever your goal is that week to get them in. Because it's just like a marathon. You can't make it out. You know, you're just going to blow the year. You're going to blow the marathon. Because to train for a marathon takes 16 weeks or 18 weeks.
Right.
So it's the same as a year in real estate. You have to really stay at it. Wouldn't you agree, Neil?
Absolutely. And when you miss a day or you miss a week, whether it's prospecting or whether it's the marathon, you get off track. And getting into momentum, that's very much. And so you've been in lockdown for how long?
I don't even know. A couple of months, right?
Almost almost 9 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Right? 2 months, a little over 2 months.
Yeah.
So plenty of agents, not our group, and certainly not you, but plenty of agents stayed on the sidelines and waited and laid around and didn't do what they were supposed to do. And now they're going to have to, over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, restart themselves, restart the motivation. I mean, how do they do that, Karen? I mean, how's that happen?
Well, I think I don't know about you guys, but for me, I was scared. I was like, I had just come back from New Zealand at 2.5 months in New Zealand. I have overhead. I just built a big fancy new house, and you'll hear some buzzing in the background. Sorry, they're just finishing my driveway and such. But, I was scared and I didn't know how to do this. And I thought, oh my gosh, everything's going to collapse. It's going to be terrible. Oh my gosh, what do we do? And I just put my head down and started working. And it's never too late to start over. You know, if you didn't train for Boston Marathon, if I got sick or injured myself, or which I've done, as a runner, you just make another race. You just go, okay, I'm going to do the race 3 months later. I'm going to do a different marathon. I'm going to do a different thing, and that's what a person would do now is go, wow, I'm behind on my goals, which we all are now, because obviously it would be stupid to say this wasn't a challenge for us and this didn't take a dent in what we were doing. That would be fantasy land, and there's no reason to dwell there. So the reality is we are all probably off our goals. Now, what do we do to reset that goal? What do we do? We've got lots of time. That's the good news. It's not even June 30th yet. June 30th is officially halfway through the year. So That's what's so cool about this. We've got lots of time.
So what are you going to do and are doing to reset that, and some ideas that you could help our group here because this is all mindset, okay? Finishing a marathon is mindset. The body can do it. Okay, if it's conditioned, it can do it.
Right.
We can get its mindset, and then some agents do it and some agents don't. What's Karen going to do over the next few months, along with her running, to work on that mindset, to move that up, to move the needle for her?
Well, obviously, I do a thing, and it was interesting. My boyfriend that I live with now, he was saying to me the other day, he said, boy, you work hard. And because we've just moved in together in the last few months since we got back from New Zealand. And he said, you work really hard. And he said, and it starts at 5:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning when you get up. He said, because he'll do a thing, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to go talk to God. I do prayer and meditation and affirmations and, journal. And then I do role playing. And then I go run, and then I come home, and then I stretch and do Pilates, and then I'm trying to work. So, that's what I do, and that's what I'll continue to do. It isn't that much different than what we've done all along. It's just that right now we really need to conquer fear, because that is our issue right now, is that people are afraid. And we need to understand, like I just sold a house. So we were closed for 2 months, right? Couldn't, really show houses for at least a month. We couldn't show houses until they were under contract. So what we did was I had my staff, we would write offers on things. If somebody wanted to show a half, put it under contract, and
Sure.
then they would go in. You guys probably did the same thing. And so then, now, I'm back. We had 1 week that we could show houses and then they shut it down again. And I sold a house for 6.6 million. I was so happy. It was so great because I was like, wow, that was a good day. And it wasn't even my listing. They had looked at the listing with the listing agent prior to me calling them. And one of my buyer's agents gave me this lead and said, I bet you can list his house, just see what you think. And I just started calling him and following up. And finally said, let me go check that house out for you and I'll let you know what I think. And then the other agent called him too late to follow up. She gave it like 3 weeks bad on the $6.6 million listing. And when she called him, he said, I've already decided I'm going to work with Karen Bernadi to buy the home. And so we wrote the offer and sold it. But when he was talking to me, he said, I'm just going to wait and see how things go. Probably prices will fall, and I'm just not sure what's going to happen. And I said, well, let me ask you this. How much do you like your home? Or do you like your wife? And he said, oh my gosh, I love my wife. And I said, how much does your wife like this home?
Good girl.
He said, okay, let's write an offer.
Good girl.
So the other objection with that one was this. He said, we could wait for prices to come down. And I said, yeah, you could, and they probably will. Then you'll have missed this home. And then prices will go back up. How long do you think you'll own this home? He said, oh, forever, 30 years. And I said, then does it matter if it goes down 10 or 20%, it comes back up 50%? He said, no. So these things work.
Oh, that's great. That is great. Great role play. Good stuff. Oh, that's fantastic. What changes will you be making with with your running and the business in order to work to achieve your goal?
Well, I run with a face mask. I run with a face mask now.
Wow, that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Well, you take it down when you're running. When you pass people, you put it up.
Okay,
We've learned that. So there's the change there. But it's all about schedule. We all know that it's all about schedule. And okay, this is another thing. I'm getting older. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm getting older. So I have to work out harder to stay in shape.
Getting older. Sorry, kid. You're younger and you're beautiful today than I first saw you.
Well, thank you. But there are other parts that are getting older. Oh my gosh. And this is the way it is right now. I haven't been able to get any Botox, no fillers. I mean, this is what it is. Anyway, so where are we going with that? Oh, anyway, so I have to work out even harder. And I know right now during this COVID thing, we have to make more calls. We have to be sharper. We have to really, really be on our game right now. And in a way, it's been invigorating for me because, and hasn't it in a way for you too, Neil?
I've never been happier than I am now and more energized than I am now because they can't compete with us, Karen.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just a matter, if you keep making those calls, which they may be more now to find those motivated people, it is so good right now. And people really need us.
Yes.
What I understand that most people don't understand, and most people that haven't been in the business a while don't understand, is that if you have a great property in a great location, and it's staged right, and it looks fabulous, it's going to sell, no matter the price range. And your prices are not going to be hurt that much. But if you have a compromised home in any way, it's going to hurt. You're under power lines, you're on a busy street, or you're dated, or, these are going to be tough houses to sell. They better get them on the market and get it sold right now.
Before the
36 million people unemployed. The writing's on the wall, guys. This isn't going to come back in another 6 weeks.
Yeah.
This is going to be a deep cut. The great news is Neil's been here before, and so have I.
Yeah.
And this is the place you want to be because Neil will, guide you through this process. And no better place to be than with a good team right now, because you need that. You know, it's interesting. Mike is going to do his seminar virtually, right?
Right.
You know, their superstar retreat.
Right.
And I want to do a thing, and maybe Neil, you could help me with this. I wanted to, because some of the best stuff I get out of the retreats are upstairs in the, you know, whatever they call that place where we all have the executive
breakout
club.
rooms. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and dinners with people.
Right.
So what I want to do is do breakfast, lunch, and dinner and switch it off like we always do. And then you get all those ideas, and we can do it on Zoom.
And we can do the Zoom breakout rooms.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. We can do
Go
that.
to dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Absolutely.
You know, we'll just set it up. So if anybody wants to be part of that, let me know.
Absolutely.
And it'll be fabulous.
Yeah, we'll be part of it. Maybe we can even do a Zoom disco.
Oh, that would be good. Oh my gosh, that's great.
You see what's wonderful about you, and some people would say it's because you've made money and done well and sell $6 million houses, but you just have this wonderful, disarming personality, charm about you, and it's fantastic. It's infectious.
Oh.
It's
Well, thank you. And some people might find it obnoxious.
yeah, I'm sure they do.
You know, I mean, that's the truth. You know, I have to really tone it down when I'm with certain engineers or certain drivers. They don't want me to go on and on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I am really a driver, but when I'm in this environment, because it makes me a little nervous, I'm an expressive. My secondary style is expressive. Most people think I'm an expressive, but the truth of the matter is I'm a driver.
Yeah, you're a driver, and then under pressure, you become an expressive.
I become an expressive, and this is pressure for me. It's nerve-wracking.
This is?
Yeah, and when I go to a party, I'm an expressive because it's, you know, it's not that comfortable for me.
Interesting. So Karen, sometimes agents don't think they have to prospect as much. You know, I've been doing this long enough, and I don't have to role play as much, and I don't have to show up as much. And
blah blah.
Right.
Blah blah.
So
blah,
and I don't.
blah. That's just the monkey, your ego trying to kill you. It's trying to bite money from you. It's the devil, if you will, going, you don't deserve success. So let me get your ego really big so that I can take money from you.
Okay, then how do you work on that? Because I've never seen you have the ego, even when you were, well, I haven't. Okay.
No, but you don't see it, but my mind talks to me just like everybody else's. And it says really stupid stuff like that. Like, you're too good for this. You don't need to do that. You've been doing this 34 years. Aren't you embarrassed to go prospect? You know, all those things. It says that to me too. And what I know is it's always the first mile that's hardest running. It's putting your shoes on to go out the door running in the morning.
Correct.
Same with anybody that works out, right, all of you? It's just getting out the door. It's putting your shoes on. It's going and doing that first lap. It's really hard, that first set of weight. When you're prospecting, it's just the first call that's hard, right? You know, after that, not so hard. What Neil has you doing with all of this? This is so cool. It is so cool that you're all prospecting and you're accountable and you can see each other. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's been amazing, and they've been just doing a really great job. And
so let me repeat what Mike Ferry would say to that. And you know as well as I do, Neil, I don't need to call Mike anymore. You know, because he called me the other day, or we talked the other day, he called me the other day, hey, I haven't heard from you during this crazy time. And I said, I don't need to call you. I just have a conversation with you because I know what you're going to say to me. What he would say with this is, take a look at your bank account, Karen.
Right.
Do you know anybody richer? And I go, no, a lot of people are more wealthy than I am. So if you do, then go prospect.
Great.
You know, until I have a jet, why don't I go prospect?
I love it. I love it. And what about so prospecting, but the role play, it's the grind. I hear this all the time from agents. I don't want to have to grind anymore.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. So you don't have to. You can be broke. You can be complacent. You can be a person that goes on Medicaid eventually in their lives because they don't have enough money to pay for an incredible, nursing home.
Right.
Think about what your life is going to look like when you were my age, almost 65. Think about what your life is
Isn't
going
that
to look like at
amazing?
85. At 85, do you want to have money? I don't want to run out of money at 100.
Yeah.
That's not pretty.
No.
It's not pretty. I don't want to have complacency. It's smug. It's disgusting. I don't want it. If you want that, go ahead. I don't.
Got it. Got it. So attitude is everything. All right. Attitude is the approach. You've met Mike 32 years ago?
Yeah, I would say 30 to 32 years ago. Yeah.
32 years ago. And so occasionally, maybe not so much today, but occasionally at the end of the year, he would make a comment. He would say, you would call him on January 1st, and can I do it again? Can I really do this again? And so, I know he would say, yes, of course you can, go do it. And you'd run off and do it. But that I keep going back to the mindset. I keep going back to the doubt. All right. The truth is, Karen, you don't need to do this financially. You may want to.
Well, if I want to keep my $6 million home, I do. I like my $6 million home.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also got a divorce 3 years ago, and that cost me a lot of money.
That was expensive.
A lot,
yeah, that was expensive.
But I could still retire. Yes, to most people's standards, I could way retire.
Right. Right.
And keep my $6 million home probably.
And keep your $6 million, and still go to New Zealand and
sure,
and spoil your grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah, aren't they the best? Karen, how do you go to work on the days you don't feel like it?
Well, I really thought for maybe a day or 2 or 3 during this crisis that I would quit. Because I thought,
Really?
I don't want to do another tough market. I don't want to do another tough market.
Interesting.
And then I looked at my employees. I have about, 7 people on my payroll. And I went, I don't want to turn them out into the job market right now.
Right.
I have a responsibility. I pay their health insurance. I don't want to put them on unemployment. And so that was kind of what kept me going. And then, I don't know, I just started doing it again, and then I was over it.
Yeah, good for
and
you.
now my guy that I live with, he when we were first together, he was like, you're plenty rich. I've got plenty of money. Let's have you not work. And then now that he knows me really well, he's like, let's have you keep working. Because he knows I have a busy mind, and I need to keep that busy.
That thing going.
Not safe.
That's great. Karen, will you take a few questions?
Of course.
Okay, absolutely.
I'd love to be a show off. This is fun.
All right. So questions for Karen. Questions for Karen Bernadi. You get to talk with her one-on-one. Go.
Karen, my name is Michael. Thank you so much. I was so inspiring just hearing you talk. Your energy is just radiating, and I feel really, really good right now. A question I have for you is that you're very, very successful nowadays, but what do you still face any struggle daily, or is there anything that's still kind of holding you back in any kind of way that you need to overcome? Is there anything at all?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. There's so many. I work on my personality, if you will, my character defects, who I am as a person. I still work on that a lot because I don't, I think I can continually improve. You might read Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. That's a really good book about how to continue. And, he lived till he was like, I think late 80s or 90s, right?
Uh-huh.
And for that's like living to 120 now because people died at 58 then.
Yeah.
So that's a really good book. And then also, but I work on a lot of stuff, and I don't get every listing I go on. I still have listings cancel. I still hate to ask people for price reductions. I mean, I still have the same challenges as everyone else, but I just have a little more life experience, a little more money in the bank, which does help, so put some money in the bank. There's one of my best advices, and I know Neil is really good at this. You know, have 6 months worth of savings so that you can live without working for 6 months. That doesn't mean you're going to quit working, but it does mean you're not desperate, and people can feel that when you go out. You know.
I love that.
Great
Thank
thought,
you so much.
Karen.
Karen.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
job.
thank you.
Thanks,
But you
Michael.
got
Good.
great energy, Michael. Just
Thank
keep
you.
going,
Thank
keep
you.
going.
All right. Good stuff. Another question for Karen here, please.
Okay, I
I'm
have
pointing
one.
at you like you'll know who I'm pointing at.
Yeah.
Meg, go ahead.
Okay, hi,
Hey,
Karen.
Meg,
Pleasure
I'm
to
so
see you
glad
again.
to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. Yeah,
What a hair day.
Good hair day, thanks. You too.
Yeah, this is all dirty hair bun, but it works. Thank you.
Buns work fine.
Mhm.
Gosh, I just heard from Lee Marcus that Josh Barker just sold his business and bought a $1 million boat last year, and now he's going to go around the world for the next 3 to 4 years. So that's kind of his future in the next, 4 to 5 years. I was just wondering, what were you thinking for yourself?
Well, I'm the queen of time off. So I took, 3 months off,
Yeah.
almost 3 months off in this year so far. And then we were planning on Italy in the fall for 3 months.
Yeah.
Or at least 2, but we'll see how things progress.
Mhm.
I don't know. My ex-husband and I thought about buying a boat and sailing around for a while. When we hit our first, we could do that. And then I don't want to be in the sun all that much.
Yeah, I know.
It's bad for your skin.
Blondes have to watch out.
Well, not just that, gets you wrinkly. But, I've spent time on yachts and that stuff, and it's fabulous. I think it's great that he's doing that. But we all have to discover for ourselves what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do. And what I want to do is, keep doing this, have money to spend on my grandchildren, travel when I want, travel first class. I'll probably work until I'm 70 at least, maybe 75, maybe 80. I don't know. I'm trying to get my team to be more and autonomous, if you will, from me. But, I'm really still very, very, very involved, especially with the high-end stuff. I really do it a lot myself. So I don't know, it just depends on what you want for you. But what I want for me is, to stay happy and healthy and running marathons and learning languages. I still take Spanish classes. And although I'm a pretty advanced speaker,
Didn't you take Italian too?
Yes, parlo un po' di italiano.
Yeah.
Però ho dimenticato molto. Ho dimenticato. Quasi tutto.
Ho dimenticato molto.
Yeah, well, quasi tutto.
Same to you, babe.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just a
Good
second.
job. Nancy, did you have a question? You're going to unmute.
My phone, I don't know how to stop my laptop from ringing, even though I stopped my phone. So anyway, I'll mute myself for a minute.
Who's
Okay.
your favorites to call, Karen? For sale by owners or your past clients?
I don't have a favorite. Who I think will sell today. How's that? Yeah. Probably, no, I don't have a favorite. I don't. That's a good question, though. Very good question. What's yours?
Probably my past clients are my favorite.
Okay. That's nice, yeah. But I don't have a favorite. I don't have one. I just love who I think will sell today. And so sometimes for sale by owners, I really like, because I've been successful at them. I love expireds, but I love to call my past clients too, of course. I like them all.
Good.
Hey, Karen, how did you bring your price points up from when you first started to where you are now today?
Well, one, you get richer, so your own center of influence, moves.
Right.
So that, your rich friends refer you their other rich friends, and you just start doing that. But the thing that I probably did the most is that I prospected into those neighborhoods.
Okay, thank you.
Really prospected into those neighborhoods. And don't be so caught up in that though, because we don't know where this is going to go here, do we, Neil?
No, but
You know,
it
I mean, we
doesn't
don't
really
know.
matter. Doesn't really matter as long as we're doing our job every day.
Yeah,
does it,
but I'll
Karen?
tell you how I got into the high end more than anything was during the last crash. Because all these people thought, oh, these big high end homes, they won't sell. They got out of it. And I took the listings and then I would short sale them later. Once the people would get real in their mind that they were going to lose the house, I would say, okay, let's short sale it. And so that's how I got a lot of those done.
All right.
Thanks.
Don't we wish we would have bought every house we'd short sale?
Every single home.
Yeah.
I talk to the
Oh
flippers.
my gosh.
I tell that to the flippers all the time. You guys are
Oh,
nuts.
don't flip them. Just
Yeah.
keep them.
Nuts. They're
Oh, it's nuts. And you pay it like short-term capital gain.
It
I
makes
mean, so you go
no
out, you work your
sense.
tail off, you make $50,000 and you pay half in taxes. Don't get a good commission.
Yeah,
So
no, I
don't.
agree. I agree. We're in the same boat with that one. Good. What other questions for Karen, please?
So, Karen, on that same topic, and first of all, thanks again for being here. You're such a rock star. But on that same topic of Joe, one of the issues we run into with some of our agents is the mindset of going after the high-end properties. So did you ever have that hang up of like, well, how do I break into that market? Like, how do I have those conversations?
Sure, sure. But it doesn't matter what your mind says to you. I mean, the mind just says all kinds of crud all the time. It's like talking to your worst enemy. You know, your mind is like talking to somebody that doesn't even like you. I mean, it's just so terrible. And what mine does to me is just so terrible. I have to tell it to shut up all the time. So, you know, there you go. So it doesn't matter what your mind tells you. It'll tell you stuff all the time. Just do it. Action is the only thing that matters. Action is the only thing that matters. Nothing else.
Great thought. Great thought. Do it
And
anyway.
they're just like everybody else. Sometimes they're dumber. Especially with some of these doctors, right? They are like, whoa, you don't even know you're dumb. And they're not dumb. They're just so focused on, you know, what they know, you know, that I don't know.
Mike would call that unconsciously incompetent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But boy, they appreciate when you tell them what to do.
Oh, yeah. Karen, mine
Yeah.
is, I'd say that I am generally very positive, upbeat, and then the real estate market like this, I felt like I'll almost cry, pulled the rug out from under me, and then I go, and then I get smacked again. How do I, you know, and then I'm exhausted emotionally. What
So
do I
don't do that. You know, it's interesting. I know that with, you know, Mike's son, Tom, that used to, you know, be a part of
Yeah.
this group, he exhausted me.
Yeah.
Because it was always that, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, I could do that when I was 20 and 30, but I still would
Right.
get tired and hit
And
the
that's,
wall.
yeah.
So
I-
Mike talks
yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
And I'm like this, but I'm not like this anymore. So I would watch a couple of things. Caffeine. Caffeine is really a tricky drug. Do you do caffeine?
I have little sippies telling everybody a 5-hour energy. I don't do caffeine otherwise.
Oh no, that 5-hour energy. Oh my
No.
God.
Okay. Get rid of it.
Oh, just, you know, and it'll take a while to get off
Yeah.
it, but I don't do any caffeine or any chocolate.
Yeah.
Because I sleep better, number one, and sleep is so precious that, you know, when you get into a different age. And the other thing is that really watch what you eat. Sugar is so bad for me. It makes me so emotional. When I eat sugar, the next day I'm sad and emotional. And I always think, why do I have this weird feeling? And I go, I ate sugar yesterday.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
it really is. So
interesting.
it's so much of that. But watch getting yourself so excited too. You know, just,
Yeah.
you know, the people that come to me and go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Right, Neil? It's like, well, just go do it. Let's not get each other all crazy here. Let's just go do it.
You know,
Thank you.
one of our agents, thank you so much. One of our agents, Elizabeth Valdez, I'm not 100% sure where she wants me to go with this, but her mic doesn't work, so she asked me to ask. She's very interested, Karen, if you see a difference between men and women agents, and is there advice you would give a woman agent in particular?
don't see a difference between men and women agents.
Okay.
I mean, I don't,
Okay.
you know, I mean, it was funny. I've never had any, you know, real sexual discrimination or anything like that against me. And I'm 65. I guess I could have felt it, you know, but I didn't. You know, my daughter has a great line. I don't know if this is a really attractive woman, but my daughter, she's very attractive. And when somebody's like making a pass at her or something, she always says, excuse me, what? She just calls it. She goes, what's going on here? I thought we were having a business meeting. Isn't that the greatest line? It's just, it's not like offensive, like, what are you doing? She goes, wait a minute, I'm confused. What's going on here? And they, you know, they straighten up. They're like, oh, I'm getting called out here, you know. She's not mean about it. She's never lost a customer over it. She's in real estate. She just goes, what's going on here? Something wrong, something's up that I don't know.
Interesting. Very
Nothing like
interesting.
acting like a dumb blonde.
Hey, Karen.
Yeah, hey.
Question- Hi, Kimberly here. Question for
Kimberly.
you. I mean, you've got such great success, and I do love your energy, just like everyone else has given you accolades. What are your champagne moments?
I don't drink.
Well, what are your fill in the blank, you know, celebrating moments?
You mean for myself or my life or, I mean,
Yeah,
my business?
Sure, all of it, because we are who we are, right?
Well,
So-
I do a gratitude list every day. So that's a champagne moment, you know, where of things that I'm grateful for. Another champagne moment for me is this. When this all happened, my daughter who lives in Costa Rica with 2 of my grandchildren, they are, she was freaking out because, like, I'm sure in California, the schools were not set up to homeschool. In Costa Rica, they weren't set up. You know, so she was like, these kids are in 9 and 6. I can't have them lose their education. You know, they've got to stay on track. So she started homeschooling them right away on her own and trying to work in real estate and do whatever. And so I could see she was really stressing. And so I said, you know what? I'll teach them a class once a day, 5 days a week. And she said, really? And I said, yeah, what do you want me to teach them? And she said, I am not a teacher. And she said, okay, geography. I said, okay, I know nothing about geography. So I taught them, you know, the equator and the prime meridian, and they know how to do grids and charts and find Paris by latitude and longitude now. You know, they know little songs. And so that is a champagne moment. Thank you, Kimberly. Good question. Because that has been a silver lining in all of this, that I said, I get to see, now I'm down because they're back in home, they're back on online school now, the school got them set up. So they're in school every morning now. So at 1:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm down to 2 days. I teach them geography still. You know, they know that the North Pole is 90 degrees plus and the South Pole is minus 90 degrees, and they know how to find things. It's so cool.
I love that. That is awesome.
Do you know
Thank
where
you
the
so much.
largest? Do you know where the largest desert in the world is?
Sahara Desert, isn't that it?
No, it's Antarctica. It's in Antarctica.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, who would have guessed?
Well, now I learned something. Thank you so much.
Well, me too. It was so fun. Antarctica, the desert. What?
Hey, Karen, we have another hour. You want to give us a geography lesson?
Yeah, I don't even know her for that. It doesn't know. But it is interesting because, you know, when I've told people that I've done this, you know, like what, you know, like a lot of times I'm prospecting, and especially at first when people were so freaked out. You know, they still are, but less people are so freaked out. And I would call my past clients. I would say, do you have a silver lining? And they would go, oh, I have to think about that. So every day when we do our Zoom meeting like this, we talk about our silver linings. And mine is definitely teaching geography, you know.
Good for you. Good job. Any other questions?
Well, Neil, I'll tell you this. They would rather listen to her do geography for an hour than whatever class I'm teaching next. I know that for a fact.
What class are you teaching next?
Well, actually, what we do on Fridays, Karen, is we watch a video of successful people on things that make them successful, and then we kind of discuss it. So we're doing Denzel Washington did a thing on the top 10 things that make him successful.
Yes, I've seen that.
So Fridays, like video watch and then discuss.
That is so great. That is really, really great. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to make a difference.
The other thing that I heard, that I've really heard lately, I have a TV here in my office on the other side, and of course I don't watch the news, but I put on Joyce Myers a lot. Do you guys know Joyce Myers? Really great. And
She's great.
She's so good. She was talking the other day about excellence, and that God wants us to be excellent in all ways. I'll end with this because it's kind of motivational. So she talks about how, you know, when people go to put away their grocery carts, they don't put away their grocery carts, and they'll do everything they can. You know, they'll take the wheels and go like this and try to, you know, so it stays, and it, you know, rather than just taking a moment and putting your grocery cart away. You know, it's every little thing you do that matters, you know, and I just think that really makes such a difference. You know, showing up on time, being on time, holding up our commitments, you know, being positive, not gossiping by the water cooler, you know, those things, having moments we're proud of, you know, that kind of stuff.
Karen, this has been absolutely fantastic. We really appreciate your time. We love masterminding with you. It's just phenomenal. I don't know any other words for it. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's been, you know, it's been inspirational to see everybody show up, and this is like the broker extraordinaire. And you guys all know that, right? I mean, he is so amazing, and I'm so proud to know him and call him my friend.
Thank you, Karen. My friend Karen.
Thank you.
Let's give it all up for Karen Bernadi. All right, everybody. Good job.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Karen.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Go make some money. Go make some money.
Gonna go make some money.